Flight Risk is now in theaters. Flight Risk is a movie that I saw last night, directed by the famously unproblematic and very normal person, Mel Gibson. Stars Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Dockery, and Topher Grace. This movie is not very good. It's not great. It's about a pilot. You've all seen the trailer, I'm sure. Mark Wahlberg going, "Y'all need a pilot," in his bald cap or whatever. This movie is about Topher Grace, who is becomes an FBI informant or a CIA informant for a guy in the mob. He's going to testify against him. And so Michelle Dockery is sent from the CIA, the CIA, to go retrieve him and fly him back to testify in court. And Mark Wahlberg is their pilot in this little rinky-dink plane. Or is he? No, he's... turns out he's a hitman that is working for the mob and has been tasked with eliminating Topher Grace, so he cannot testify. The start of this movie opens with and I don't know if this is confirmed, so don't hold me to this, but it opens with what seems to be a fairly obvious shot of a motel in Alaska that is clearly AI generated. It just has that like AI feel, AI kind of nonsense happening where it just doesn't look real. And it not because of bad CGI, because seconds later there is a awful CGI moose that shows up outside of the hotel that Topher Grace is in Alaska, and that's not AI. That is just terrible CGI. There's no other way to describe it. So bad AI right off the start, like painfully obvious AI, kind of like an AI establishing shot outside of a motel where I guess Mel just went into Sora or whatever and just typed in like motel in Alaska in the wintertime and clicked enter, and then that's how he decided to open his movie. I don't see any other explanation as to why this wouldn't be AI. But and then there's a bad CGI moose for no reason. It's literally just a jump scare at the start where the moose knocks on the window. The moose just like hits into the window of the hotel and scares Topher Grace. That's it. It's completely pointless, and really, really awful in my opinion. And it should not be allowed. Mark Wahlberg in this performance is terrible. This movie sucks. Like he is cartoon levels of a villain here. It's like distracting how evil this person is, and not even in like a fun way or an interesting way. It's not great. You can tell but he's having fun with the role, I guess, but like it's the similar way to how like Jason Momoa is having fun in Fast X, but it's still just like totally awful and just unnecessary. He makes a lot of sexual assault jokes in the direction of Topher Grace to like an uncomfortable degree. Like there are ways you can make the skinny guy in prison jokes or whatever and drop in the soap jokes. Like, you know, those have been done 100 million times, and while they aren't like the funniest thing ever, they can be played for laughs, sure. But it's like non-stop by Wahlberg in this to a degree where I'm like, what is happening? And apparently this script for this movie was on the blacklist. And if you don't know what the blacklist is, it's basically just like a website that houses the most sought after scripts that have not been picked up by a studio for a movie, basically. And the script for Flight Risk was on this list. And it makes sense. This is a pretty compelling, like there's only 3 people in this movie, really. It all takes place on a plane. So like you can make this for pretty cheap. Just get some people in a prop plane, CGI the background in the air, and that's it. And then your movie's made. But there's literally zero sexual assault jokes in the original black script. Like, just doesn't exist. So this was added by Mel and whoever else co-wrote this movie with him. I can't remember his name, but maybe that's for the better. It's just off-putting. Like, to a degree where I don't even want to like keep watching the movie because it's just painfully unfunny when it's clear it's being played for laughs. Like, it's obviously to show that Wahlberg's character is evil, but also like I'm supposed to laugh at like his 35th "Hey Topher Grace, don't drop the soap" joke, once you get put in prison or whatever. Like, haha, very funny. Except it's not very funny. It's not good. So basically, all right, Wahlberg gets onto their plane. It's just the three of them. They're in this little prop plane. It is discovered that Wahlberg is not actually the pilot. He is the assassin for the mob or whatever. They subdue him in one way or another, and now Michelle Dockery has to fly the plane. Oh no. And she eventually ends up in contact with kind of her bosses, and they put her through to a pilot named Hassan, who gives a absolutely wonderful voice performance. Basically, Hassan is teaching her how to fly the plane and keeping everything steady and remaining calm, and this dude is charming off of the charts. It's unbelievable. He makes good jokes, he flirts with her, he talks to her and calms her down. It's like really good stuff, and it makes total sense that if there was ever a scenario like this in the real world, which I'm sure there is in some degree, that the guy that you would be talking to, the pilot on the ground that would be guiding you, would also be trying to like calm you down and distract you, basically. And he is really good at it. And every time Hassan gets on the mic with her, I'm like, oh, now the movie's kind of cooking. And then as soon as they hang up, I'm like, oh, what about Hassan? Bring Hassan back. Give me more Hassan. Like, I want these two to flirt more. Like, because other than that, Michelle Dockery's character is pretty boring. Like, there's nothing to her really. It doesn't really matter. We get a little bit of backstory, and I am just put to sleep by like how like one note and painfully boring it is. So I just wanted more of her and Hassan like going back and forth, learning how to fly a plane. That was good stuff. Topher is actually not bad in this. He is definitely the funniest character in this movie. He's got some good laughs, and he's got good comedic timing, which makes sense. You know, that 70s show, he's a pretty funny guy. And he's kind of just doing his Topher Grace thing, I think. A little bit of dry humor here and there, which it can be overplayed sometimes, but for the most part, I think he does his job the best of the three actors. So I'll give it up for Topher. I've got no ill will towards him. He does good overall. Eventually, about halfway through the movie or so, a little more than halfway, this is a very short movie, by the way. This is like a 100-minute movie, I think. And we find out there's a rat on the inside of the CIA. There's someone who told the Wahlberg's boss that, you know, Topher Grace is going to testify against you, basically. And so that's how Mark Wahlberg gets sent to pilot the plane and to take out Topher Grace. So we have to figure out who the rat is, and like it's I wouldn't say it's like painfully telegraphed, but obviously the rat, the mole on the inside of the CIA or FBI or whatever organization this is, it's obviously going to be someone like that we have encountered in the movie, and we've only encountered like two or three other people in the movie, all over radio communication over the phone, basically. So it doesn't have any effect, like, whatsoever. I don't care who the mole is. Like, it does not matter, because we have no established rapport with these characters, and so it's like, oh no, it's the big boss is the mole, or like the middling boss is the mole. Like, those are your two options, basically. It's either like Michelle Dockery's direct boss or her direct boss's boss. Like, that's it, because those are the only two people we talk to. And again, it's only over the phone, and it's for like 30 seconds each. So we don't really know who those characters are, and nor do we care. It's just not a good movie overall. The ending is climactic, and I will say I was interested in the ending. You know, spoiler alert, she tries to land the plane, and I won't spoil or not whether she does. Obviously, she's successful, obviously. And it was suspenseful enough. I mean, it's some pretty CGI landing, but it's certainly not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's certainly not as bad as a AI motel or CGI moose at the start of the movie. So I'll give it credit there for improving as it went along, I suppose. But overall, yeah, not a good movie. There's not, I mean, it's January. There's no movies out. It's about to be February. This is the time where everyone just dumps their bad action movies, and, you know, maybe one or two horror movies will start to make some money. Go see One of Them Days instead. I saw that. That was a lot of fun comedy with Keke Palmer and SZA. So go see that if you want. I probably won't do a review on it necessarily because I don't have too much to talk about it with it. But yeah, not a good movie, Flight Risk. You know, tough luck, Mark Wahlberg. Maybe we don't need any more Mel Gibson movies, Hollywood guys. Like, is that something we could do? Could we just be done with Mel Gibson? I kind of thought we were done with him like a while ago, and no, I guess not. Interesting. All right, well, that's my review of Flight Risk. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.